Good afternoon, everybody. This is Cassandra, and welcome to Cassandra's Garden. I have the most delicious, absolutely wonderful, warming, healing recipe for my homemade vegetable soup. You are going to love it. It's December, it's cold, it's dreary, and this is a wonderful thing to take to work for lunch. It's wonderful to come home to after work, or even if you're just staying home all day and you're just being warm and cozy, this is the soup for you. Now, I want to say this. I made this, and my husband was sick, and it literally made him feel better. But of course it would. It's so nutritious. It's got valuable ingredients in it that are known to help heal and comfort the body. Let's get started. I have here 15 ounces of corn, 15 ounces of white beans, 28 ounces of diced tomatoes in their juices, 15 ounces of green beans, 2 baking potatoes chopped, not too finely. And in this bowl, I have 2 carrots chopped and 3 stalks of celery, 1 cup of onions diced, 3 garlic cloves minced, a half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of Merlot salt, and 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and 1 bay leaf. Now, you're going to need 4 cups of vegetable broth. I make mine myself, and this is what mine looks like. You'll probably see little specks of pepper in there, and that's okay too. I make mine with celery, carrots, onions, garlic, green onions, and beets, and it turns out delicious. I do add a little salt and pepper to taste, and it's perfect. So let's get started. I'm just going to take you over here with me. Please excuse my kitchen. It's still a mess. We're still trying to get everything in here situated and moved in. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to saute the onions. And I'm doing this one-handed, so just bear with me. In 2 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to add the minced garlic to that, and I'm going to tell you something right now. This is going to make your home smell so good. Every time I make it, when my daughter walks in or my husband, they just go crazy. It smells so good, and it makes your home smell like you're just a little gourmet chef. Now, you don't need to add salt and pepper to this because we will have salt and pepper added to our overall dish. So I'm just going to let that get to sauteing. We're going to go ahead and turn up the heat on that. And here is my soup pot. This is my big old stock pot. And as you can see, I've already added my 4 cups of vegetable broth that I made. Now, what's going to add to this is all the juices from the tomatoes and the beans and the corn, and it'll add juice to it. If and only if you feel like you need to add more, then you just need to add 1 cup of water. You don't need any more of the vegetable broth, whether you make it yourself or if it's store-bought. Do you hear that sizzling? Wow. Let me tell y'all something right now. It smells so good. We're going to saute these. Get them kind of caramelized. This video may be a little bit lengthy because I'm just kind of taking you with me through the steps. Just bear with me, and you can see how I make it. And, oh God, smells so good. So we've got the heat turned up. This is 2 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of olive oil to saute my garlic and my onions. Oh, it's already smelling so delicious. So it is very cold. Yesterday was Friday, and my husband and I were getting ready for work, and he got up and he said, "Oh my God, it's 28 degrees outside." That smells so good. Now, to that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the carrots and the celery. That's right. You're going to saute these babies with the onions and the garlic. And we're just going to stir this around really gently so that nothing falls out of the pan. You can see by my pan I've used this quite a bit. Let me grab a small spoon to stir everything around. Oh, it smells so good. We're going to let those babies get good and tender. While that's sauteing, like I said, I've already got the 4 cups of broth in my stock pot. Let's go ahead, and all we have to do is add everything else. Let's grab the potatoes. As you can see, that's where I peeled them. And the potatoes have been washed. Let's go ahead and add this 28-ounce of diced tomatoes in their juices. And the white beans in their juices. See, this adds to the juice. So you shouldn't have to add any more water, but if you do, just add 1 cup. And now we're going to add the green beans. Just kind of tidy things up a little bit. Now let's add the corn. You can use white corn. I chose to use the bright yellow corn because of the white beans. Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to tell you. The white beans add such a delicious flavor to this soup. Now let's go ahead and add our 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. And we are going to give our mixture here a little stir. Smells so good. Let's go ahead and add our 2 teaspoons of Merlot salt. And Merlot salt is simply really good, high quality salt that has been infused with Merlot wine, and it really does make a difference. And let's just pour that in there. And our half a teaspoon of pepper. And our bay leaf. Now we're going to take and we're going to stir this about, we're just going to stir this and get it ready to simmer for 1 hour. After 1 hour, you are ready to go. If I were you, I would cook this on the stove as opposed to the crock pot because I just think it makes it taste better. You can also double this recipe, you can triple this recipe, and you can quadruple this recipe. It's totally okay, but just remember, if you double it, you have to double the spices, the salt, everything. That's just par for the course, right? Now let me show you what I do. I'm kind of glad I wasn't prepared for this one. So I'm going to grab a plate, a nice clean plate. I'm going to put it right there. And let me put the lid on there to protect that. And I'm going to grab paper towel because I want to drain the butter and the olive oil off of my vegetables. This is such an unprofessional video, and I'm so sorry. But I really wanted to make a cooking video that was just one part. And, you know, to show you guys and gals how I do it. And it smells so good. This smells so good. I cannot even begin to tell you how good this smells. the hardest part about this is cutting up all the vegetables. Once you get that far and you separate everything out, it's easy peasy. Smells delicious. And then there's what our soup looks like so far. And I'm telling you, when you bring this to a boil, you're going to cut it down on low heat for 1 hour. And it's going to make your stomach growl because it's going to smell so delicious. When you're in the mood for vegetable soup, don't go buy canned. This is the way to go, I'm telling you. My husband absolutely loves this recipe. It's so good that I put it in my recipe book. While we're waiting for this to get a little tender, I'll show you. I'll show you what my recipe book is. This is my recipe book. It's kind of got stuff on it from over the years of use, but I have all of my wonderful, and the kids will draw me little pictures, like that's midsummer corn cakes, and like there's my homemade biscuit recipe, pimento cheese, chicken salad, and like the best cookie recipe. And my granddaughter, let me show you what she drew in here for me. We wanted to write down our recipe for hummingbird food nectar, and it's just a wonderful recipe. It's completely different from simple syrup. I was told differently a long time ago to make a simple syrup, but that's not the same as the true nectar. This is the one that you need. So look what my granddaughter Destiny did. Isn't that just precious? This book is so magical. I just love it. I just bought this book and just started putting recipes in it. And here's a recipe. So when I say I put it in the book, that's what I mean by this, because I only put the best recipes in my special book. And then here is my homemade vegetable soup. And this is what it looks like. And that's my drawings. And that's the instructions. But, oh my goodness, this smells so good. Now let me show you what I do with this after, you know, it starts to get a little caramelly, you know, and the celery is, you know, starting to get tender, and the carrots, you know, when they start to give way a little bit. Oh my God, that smells so good. I love sauteed onions and garlic together. It's just my favorite thing. And normally, with other dishes, I would be adding salt and pepper, but there's enough salt and pepper in this recipe, so I didn't want to overdo it. Okay, let's grab the spatula. And here's what I do. I'm going to drain the vegetables before I put them in my soup to drain off the excess oil and butter, because we don't need it. Just needed it to fry it with. And olive oil, you can't go wrong with olive oil, how it makes vegetables taste. Now after the video, I will rake all this out really, really good. I'll put it on here and let it continue to drain. But since I'm using one of my hands for the camera, I can't do that. So let's just kind of move this to the side. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to simply just kind of, this is so much harder to do with one hand. So let's get our stock pot on the big burner. Let me grab my spatula, and I'm going to add, can you see that? To the soup mixture. And I am going to continue. There we go. Now I've got some free hands. Now I've got free hands. Now I'm excited. So I'm going to do that. Get all those onions and the garlic pieces in there, and my stove is clean, so I don't have to worry about that. And there's a piece of onion. My stove is spotless, so don't worry. Now that I have some free hands, I can go ahead and do the rest. Scraping the pan really good, getting every little crumb of those onions and garlic. They are so good for you. They really aid when you have a cold and stuff like that. I love it. Now that's drained off, so let's get that in here. If you guys and girls could only smell how delicious this is, oh yeah, you would love it. Now we've got all of it in there. And we're going to stir until it is fully incorporated. I love this recipe. I have been looking for years for a really good homemade vegetable soup. Just, sometimes you just want vegetable soup, and I'm telling y'all, this is it. Now let's turn this baby on medium high. We're going to bring it to a boil, and then after it starts to boil, I'm going to turn it down to a medium low, and I'm going to let it simmer for 1 hour, and you have got a great meal right here. It's delicious, it's nutritious, it's warming. It's great with like a gourmet grilled cheese sandwich, or just crackers and something to drink. I hope you enjoyed this. Try this soup. Tell me what you think in the comments. I hope that you do try it, and I hope you like it. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Happy gardening and happy cooking.